Everybody, JWilliam here again. I'm going to go ahead and this is my first kind of drawing video, and the reason I'm kind of holding the camera is because I'm going to put it down here in a minute and let it kind of observe while I do the drawing. But I did want to talk a little bit first. If you're a first time artist, if you've just started drawing or trying to experiment with drawing, these are some techniques that I'm going to talk about that you can possibly use as an artist yourself. I started kind of a long time ago, and basically when I was a teenager. But you can really kind of draw from those experiences. It really makes sense. Now, that doesn't mean that if you just started drawing that it's too late. Anybody can, pick up a pencil and go at it with drawing. Sometimes with drawing, though, you want to kind of use references and things like that, especially when you're first beginning. The reason I say that is because you draw a lot. When I was in college, one time I had a assignment where the sculpting instructor, he wanted us to go to the library, and at the library he wanted us to make sketches of all these different works of art. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is just this is time consuming and boring. But no, it actually helps a lot to go and look at how the shadows fall across the drawing and things like that. Now, depending upon your level of skill, you might not want to go that far just yet. So we're going to start really with a blank piece of paper. And if you can see right here, I've got my blank piece of paper set up. And basically I'm going to put the camera as close as I can so you guys can get a good kind of relationship with what I'm doing. But I'll talk through a lot of it first. And the first thing, usually when I draw, I start with a sketch, and the sketch could be very rough. This is an example of a very rough sketch. That's a drawing that I was thinking about doing, so a potential pose that I'm going to do might come out just like that, just some very rough lines. Now, a long time ago, I used to completely finish a pencil drawing, like go full bore, get everything done, and then go back and start applying ink. You can do that, and sometimes you want the natural feel of pencil to just stay with a pencil drawing. But sometimes if you want to take ink, or if you want to take it to the next level, putting color in it, that's when you need to think about how you want to do that and how you're going to get from point A to point B. For example, by me just doing a very rough sketch, and here's another one that's kind of mid-range, and you can see that I've basically taken a pencil drawing and just lightly went over with a pen, covering the main areas and ideas about the drawing itself. And you can see that with this one, I've actually already started to add some color. So that gives you an idea of kind of where I go. I was basically taking a very rough sketch, and then from that rough sketch, take that and add pen lines, which actually I think helps guide what it does for me by doing the initial pin lines, the very light pin lines. It helps me because I know most of the time I know I'm gonna color it. Color, just to me, I mean, I love black and white. I think black and white is very original. Some people work just strictly in black and white. I don't do that. I move around because I think it helps to kind of understand how colors and what colors work. And you can look at, when you look at even like advertisements, for example, that gives you an idea that some artist at some point looked at a color scheme for that advertisement. So that gives you an idea why color kind of has to be kind of at the foreground of any, art project you're going to do, or anything you're going to do of that nature. So the key thing is that I've done some drawings where I went all the way full bore and finished all the ink and not put an ounce of color inside at all. And that drawing was done basically with the intent of staying at black and white. Now I have colored pictures, and I know that sometimes you might do a drawing and you think to yourself, how long is this drawing gonna last, or when's it complete? When am I finished? It's finished whenever you say you are. If you see something that you don't like maybe years later, and if it's something you can go back and revamp, by all means go back and revamp. I'm a master of revamps because I did a lot of just very simple pencil drawings, pen drawings, things like that. Some of the art that I put out today, actually I've done a long time ago. It's just I let it sit as a pencil drawing in a big box I have of like drawings that I've worked on, just for a really long time. One, because it's just for the artists out there who are like myself, that you're married and have a family and kids and stuff, and you're trying to kind of do art at the same time. You don't have that time sometimes to sit down and just draw. You know, you've got to kind of look at the family and make sure everything's taken care of there first. But what we're going to go through is basically the basic initial steps for drawing. I'm not going to take it full bore with the picture, but I am going to go back to the basics, because as you saw with the other picture I showed you before, I don't use a lot of cylinders and circles anymore. I did a long time ago, but as you can see, sorry about that, I don't do a lot of circles and cylinders, but I'm going to go back to circles and cylinders, because I think if you're a beginning artist, it's someplace that you need to kind of set yourself, that you're going to do your pictures from that perspective. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set the camera down here. Hopefully it maintains a good stance and doesn't try and fall on me while I'm trying to do both. So doing a little bit of both things here. And let me adjust it a little bit. And that should be good to go, I believe. Or good enough for what I'm going to do. Okay, because I'm going to just one hand everything. So don't look at me, look at the paper. And I'm just making this up off the top of my head. So I'm thinking that right now I'm doing Primeval, which is my kind of prehistoric version of artwork that I'm working on. I'm going to turn you guys more towards the paper. But with Primeval, I'm doing a lot of barbarian characters. So I'm thinking I want to do a guy kind of like in a power stance, kind of overlooking like a valley or something. Now with him being that way, as you can see, I'm kind of etching it out. Now I haven't done circles and cylinders yet, but what I'm doing is a skeleton. And a skeleton is basically going to give me that outline of what it is I want to do. And I'm probably going to do a shield for him over here. I do like armor. Some people like the old, I guess, Conan the Barbarian, no armor characters running around. I've always been a big fan of armor. And I don't know if you can see that as I'm drawing it. It might be very light. I'll move it in close after I get to where I'm ready to start doing circles and the circles and cylinders, and then when I get to that point, I'll move it in close so you can take a better look at it. And I'll even do a little bit of background here that, you know, he's kind of up on the side of a mountain. And I'm going to bring you in real close and let you take a look at that so you can kind of see more of what I'm doing right there. And that's kind of, I've done the head, as you see right here, the neck, shoulders. You got one arm coming down here. It's going to be attached holding a sword. You got another arm coming down here. It's got a shield. It's probably going to be on that side. And then you've got the background behind here. You don't have to always do background. Sometimes, especially when you're starting out, sometimes a lot of people will do just kind of like stance art. Or this is kind of stance art as well. I mean, I've got a guy standing here. He's not in action. He's not in motion. It's a different considerations when you put somebody in motion, but we'll talk about that next video. But this video, we're just looking at basically, now this guy right here, and I'll probably keep him through this series. I put his neck, and you can see as his neck, all I do is basically, I'm just taking and putting a cylinder right there where his neck would be. Okay? And then I want shoulders on him because, you know, he is a fairly strong individual. I'm drawing to be strong. So I'll do my cylinders and circles there. So I've got a circle here, cylinder, cylinder, circle for the elbow joint, forearm cylinder, hand can be also a circle as well. And then down here, this is kind of an odd circle. It's not really a circle per se, but you know that this is the chest cavity. So the abdomen cavity is right here, is where I'm going to go to. Now, after that, or the rib cage / abdomen, and then I'm going to go to the abdomen area, and then you've got the groin area right there, and then you've got basically your leg coming off on one side, another leg right here kind of forward as a power stance, and then you put another circle right here, and this is where we're going to get the shield. Now the shield may cover some of this, but it's always good to kind of draw things out in advance so you know where things are going to be placed. Placement is very important, especially when it's doing any type of drawing. And so that's a real quick one. So what I'm going to do now is that you've seen kind of the up close of what I'm looking at. I'm going to go in and do some detailed circles so you get kind of, and lines. Circles and lines help you understand kind of where you're going with the character. I wanted to have some, his eyes coming in, you know, a little deep set, kind of fierce look on his face. And this is just like you can see, it's just not really a detailed face. All I did was just put a couple lines right there on the face itself. And that's not, I don't want to get too detailed, because if I get too detailed, I'm gonna be stuck or locked into. So I don't even want deep pencil lines. You really want light pencil lines. And then, you know, like I said, we're doing the kind of barbarian hero look. So I'm going to go ahead and give him muscles. These are his chest muscles, and then his rib cage is down here, and so I accentuate that right here. And then your abdomen, you know, you just got to look at, you know, basic how a body is made up, because everybody has these basic. I mean, even if you're overweight or heavy set like myself, you'll still have an abdomen. Just it might become not abs. It's just, in my case, it's just ab. Just one of them bad boys. But then you can see that I'm putting muscles, using circles to put muscles onto the cylinders themselves. And as you use these circles, it kind of gives you a guide of what this person's going to look like. And one thing we're going to do, because we don't, typically I don't make people, like I said, I like doing armor. So we're going to definitely put armor on this guy. We don't want him running around trying to fight people without armor on. So I do a very rough set of his sword. I want to curve it because it's not unimproved. Primeval, if you haven't been following my work, is basically it's a world that's still in the primeval era. So in that case, one thing I do a lot of, and I'll go ahead and put some of his armor on, is basically they use big abdomen plates, or even pieces of like animal shell, or like big dinosaur. They call them Terra, that they used basically there. So I do a big kind of thing right there, maybe a bone right here as a groin guard, and then, you know, he's got some furs or, you know, leathers, you know, strapped out. And I'm basically going around the body and matching that to thing. And he's probably going to have, he's not a improved time period, so it's just going to be some arm wraps, kind of strengthen his arm or give him a little bit of protection. Might even throw a little piece of wood or something there on the back that he's strapped on. And then basically you got the individual. So you can see we've got the character starting to form up into the components of, you know, our hero. So I don't know if you guys can see that very well. I think it's pretty well that you can see that, but you can see kind of how we've got the head, and we just started with the cylinders and circles. So that's the important thing, is that if you're doing any type of artwork, it's best to just kind of get in there and, you know, kind of lay out what you want to do first. And that gives you a very rough example to work from. And what I'm going to do, that's the most I'm going to cover in this video, because it don't go very in depth or, you know, with these. I am going to put out an actual book that goes more detailed on what is I'm doing and how I'm doing it and how it comes out. So I just wanted to kind of get that out there so you guys can see. This will be listed, or this video is the first of the How to Draw series. And I'm by no means the best artist, but I have been doing it for a while, and so I've sold some stuff, so I'm a professional as well. So that's a good thing. But anyway, just wanted to make sure you guys got the information. Make sure you like and subscribe, and then you'll see me in this next video series, and hit the notification bell, and that way you'll be able to pick up on when I pick up. And I'm going to keep this same drawing going through this series, just so you see kind of where we go from there. So the next video, I'll just go a little bit more detailed on what it is that I'm doing. Okay, thanks for coming. I hope you enjoyed it. Very short, probably 15 minutes, but I try and make things quick, to the point, because I know you want to get a chance to sit back and take these elements of the video and kind of stop, play, rewind, go back and look at what it is you're doing. So it makes sense. I mean, just really draw light. That's my biggest thing to say, is don't get there bearing down on the pencil trying to get burn through every pencil you have trying to get one drawing out. Drawing light saves on your pencil work, but it also gives you a chance to correct if you need to. So that makes sense. And then if you guys have any questions, please post any questions in the comments. I've always felt really good. Oh, sorry about that. Really good about, well, definitely not planned, but I've always felt really good about making sure that I respond to comments. So if you have any comments, questions, ideas, or even if you have any techniques that you saw that I'm using, that maybe you've got something you do a little bit different, please let us know. Put that in the comments, and I'll make sure I respond back to you. Thanks. You have a nice day.